Gemini, how you getting on? Hope you're all right. So, July, right? Well, we're just about approaching July. As I'm doing this, it's the 28th today. But July. So why, Steve, why do you do monthly reading with spreads? Well, through my journey, Gemini, I've realised that the most thing that ever really helped me, definitely, the most thing that ever really helped me was these kind of spreads, because they are a lot to do with you, because it's going to be to do with money and your work, your spiritual calling, your family dynamics and your life dynamics, and also your love. It will also incorporate everything, but we know that it's still general reading, so it won't really relate fully to you unless you have a personal reading. But I am going to do this over on Skype if you are interested, because it's easier that way, where you can pretty much watch this and then I can talk to you as we're going through it, and it will really kind of, you know, I can say, oh, that's them then, and that's your situation, and we can have feedback, and it'll make things so much easier if you have actual questions that you want answering. Because it's very much difficult to actually do it via like a text kind of reading, because I still can't communicate with you when we do that. But they are personal readings. If you want one, link's in the description. But this helps so much more, because it will tell you about your soul growth and your group, the people that you are with day to day, and the things that are teaching you about boundaries and codependency. You learn so much more by things, people that you don't really see, which are your family, because you learn by them, and you learn by society, and you learn by your jobs and how you've treated and how you treat other, and counter reactions, codependency, dependency, counterdependency. You know, they're all parts of soul growth that will help you a lot more, and that is why I do these general readings, because they're very good heads up of energy to avoid and not to avoid, and to look at something about yourself through this reflection of this time to change. Me, regardless, when I was on my journey, right from the fucking beginning, I realised that whether it related it to me or not, and it might have been the other person, I would take that under advisement, and I would still try to change that about myself, and I would look and think, well, if that was me, how would I change that? You know, I mean, I'm Pisces, so I'm morph into someone else all the time, right? But you know, my family dynamic, and my mum's a Gemini, right? So we have dynamics, you know, and we learn by parents, and we realise about so many different things. And I did that through my journey. I hope you don't get bored, Gemini. I do apologise. I know you want to get on with the reading, but I really did, you know, I really did. And it helped me so much more being able to look at these kind of readings, because I could see what's coming up and what energy to avoid. And then if it really relates to me a lot, and you're like, oh my God, that is so me, then if you can take that kind of advice and you can really break through that ego part of your mind to become a better person, that's where you start to do the work. The fear is what holds you back. Things of the mind that hold you back. When you're on these soulmate relationships, regardless, we're all on them now, right? If you're watching them, we're pretty much, but we have soulmates. But if you're on the twin flame journey, you have a very passionate sexual desire and communication with somebody, okay, and it's a spiritual journey. I'm going to do a different video on my experiences around twin flames, but you know, these are very good energies that are going to help you with soul growth, to ground yourself, to look at yourself, to reflect on yourself, because that's what helps you the most, you know, the most. But we'll see, gems. So my little Geminis, I hope you're all right. Let's see, Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising and Venus. But, you know, my family dynamic, my mum's a Gemini. It's safe for you to love. It's safe for you to love. You know, I have Gemini moon, you know. I still ain't fully 100% on my chart, because I never really knew the time I was born. You only know that if you're twins, right? If you're actual twins. Some of you are on this twin flame journey. But, yeah, like twins, you only get that kind of time when you're actually born as a twin, because they need to do that when you're born to separate what time distance it is between one being born and the other being born. But I pretty much know my time. But let's see. So I don't know if any of you are like a really good astrologers, or of how to find that out without, or information of how to find out your time, because it's not on my birth certificate. It is safe for you to love. Open your heart to give and receive. I just see a great shining light coming from someone's heart. Envisioned it. Open your heart and to receive the highest energy of all. So what I'm kind of hearing is that, you know, your heart is always receptive to energy, right? And your heart is always broken, regardless of what you do about learning to release and let go, all the time. But your journey through spiritual callings and in life is that your soul knows exactly what it needs to do, right? That's why it's pulled in that direction. The only thing that stops you going as a meat suit going in that direction is the ego and the fear and things that have happened to us in our past. And, you know, relationships that we have with different people and everything that we go over. So when we realize that our soul is called and pulled in that direction, that's going to happen regardless. So it's always safe because you have to go through fear, regardless. You have to go through it. You have to go for it, Gem. You really do. You have to go for it. You have to leave things behind in order to make things better. And even if it doesn't work out, when you're on a spiritual journey, you are called in that direction as a light worker. So you are called for action. So whether that's giving action to other people and guiding other people, but your soul is called as an action to go forth on it regardless. And if you avoid that and you run from it, you will just meet another circumstance that they'll give you because your soul has had that experience saying, well, it's written for me to experience it. So whether it's with this person, that person, this person, that person, you see, and that's where you can go from different soul groupings, places, towns, people, you know, IT, all that kind of stuff. It's all groupings of separation of things, you know, but it is safe for you to love. So, you know, regardless of your journey, you know by now, whatever it is, that you've been doing it for a while and that you've got to go through it, right? So the best thing for you to do is to realize that you're safe, you know. Let's see, Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising and Venus. Because I'm feeling a bit of like being scared for some reason. Because obviously if it's safe for you to love, it might mean that you've just lost a lot of things in your life, or people have always, it's kind of like pessimism really. You know, why does it always happen to us? You know, well, it does as human beings. So sometimes we fear of letting a lot of things go, of children. I'm picking up children as well. There's a lot of children in this card, you know, a lot of children. But, you know, in order to get through that, you've got to obviously go through it, right? Gemini, Sun, Venus. But I think it's fearing to let something go in order for you to understand what love would really feel like, you know. And this can be you, them, parents, children, anybody. It really can. And I wouldn't lead people up the garden path. There you go. Love yourself first. Your self-respect makes you more romantically attractive. So your self-respect, well, you've got to have respect for yourself. Respect yourself. Love yourself first. Well, we only get to do that more and more and more and more. It can relate to self-worth issues. You know, it can relate to not wanting to do things alone, and that we want someone to do it with us. So, you know, you love yourself first and someone loves you enough and you get to do things, you know, together. See, Gemini, Sun, Rising, Venus. We'll see how this tallies up with the reading, Gemini, Sun, Rising, Venus. Any messages, any important messages for... Because love yourself first is more about a codependency of continuing to just do the same thing all the time. So when you realise that you can, you have to be 100% honest with yourself if you're really settled, or if you're really just doing it to avoid something. You know, you can't avoid things. You've got to have action in order to go forth on it, regardless. Okay, so there you go. Religious factors. Your love life is influenced by the religious upbringing and spiritual path. So basically, that's kind of past life energy really to me. Religious factors, it all comes from the mind. Your life is influenced by your religious upbringing and your spiritual path. So you have a spiritual path in order to go on, is pretty much what I was saying. Your soul is cried in that direction, so you have to answer the call to religious factors. Because when you're religious, or when you are spiritual, you have no choice. You've got no choice, because you're a light worker, because you are, you're on mission pretty much. So you might be trying to look at mission, that you're on a mission to do something new. You know, safe for you to love yourself first, and you're on a mission. And then you've got heart-to-heart conversations and passion, and express your love. Okay, so here we go, gems. So there you go. So it could have a lot to do with messaging. This can be, so if you haven't met someone new, this can be someone new that you meet. Okay, someone new. But this is a gift that's arriving. Okay, or you're talking about something. Well, you know, at least we could work on it. So how about if you're planning on something of working together, or if you're planning on a trip, or you're actually moving in a direction, you're actually really contemplating on getting everything together first and grounding yourself where you are at home first. It's a bit like nurturing, feeling like a mother's nest type sort of thing. I feel like dusting and cleaning and all that kind of stuff, and preparing for something. That's it. Preparing to make a move in this direction that we're going to be going on. Yeah, you're preparing to either travel, or you're preparing to you're working on yourself, your own grounding. You're trying to ground yourself, but you're working on something. It's messages, but it could be to do with your children, that you're trying to find a stable ground between you and your children, or you and your partner. So if it relates to children, you're trying to find a stable ground, meaning, you know, I've got this to offer you. Now, if this is to do with children, and this is children, then it's pretty much the same thing. You know, they're leaving or traveling. They're trying to gather things together, and they're actually like wanting to separate themselves from the nest. I'm kind of feeling separate myself from the nest. So if this relates to you and your partner, this is a lot of messages that are kind of like backwards and forwards. I'm really picking it up on someone new, Gemini. You know, someone new. It's a lot of desire in order to go in this direction. Oh, damn, Smokey. So this is someone that's hiding a secret from someone, hiding a secret from somebody. It's deceptiveness. It's someone that that wants to leave things behind that cause conflict. So if you're stuck at home, or you're stuck at, in a place or something, you're trying to avoid that. So you're hiding a secret from someone, or they are you, because there is a bit of fear of actually leaving something behind, because you've got a decision to make, and you've got this new trip or this new journey that you or they want to go on, or you are going on, or this new person, but there's a little bit of fear that's created through this time of where it is safe for you to actually admit what this is, because regardless of what I was saying, it's all you. 7 is always you, right? So regardless of who this is, this would be people that are around you, right? Around you. So it's a reflectant energy of fear, okay? Will you run out on me? Why are you going? But I want to go. You know, I need to fly the nest, and I need to travel. So then you're worrying that the 5 of Swords is going to carry some kind of conflict about this direction that you're going to go in, because somebody fears abandonment, or if you're like, if it's the children and stuff like that, you're fearing that they are probably going to run out on you for some reason. Like, but I get this. It's like a backwards and forwards energy, you know, backwards and forwards, 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 and it's like, oh my God. This can also be, I've got so much to prepare and so much to do, right, that I'm just like, well, I'm really trying to offer this love to here, and then I'm also, on the other hand, oh my God, gems. 7 and 9 makes a 7 again. So this is a little bit of worry for some people that somebody's going to be leaving, someone's going to be leaving, or someone might leave you, or that you know that you need to leave something behind. Now, when you add the 9 to the 2 that's here, that would make 2 again. So it's deciding. It's a lot. You're doing the Gemini thing again, gems, which is like backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. Okay, well, I've got this new love opportunity, this new travel opportunity. I've got whatever this is that I'm kind of fearing of, like, will it... This is about pessimism. And everybody gets it because we're 7. We're all 7. So this is about being pessimistic. Well, will this happen to me again? You know, will I lose everything if I do this again? You know, but this can be you or them or family members. But like I said, these are all parts of the mind that's created through that, right? So you only know what's on the other side of these cards when you admit that to yourself, right? When you admit it to yourself, because this is someone that keeps a secret, right? So when you purge out, that's when this starts to release then, because it's a moving energy. It's a moving away from, because you've got moving. So it's a moving away from conflict, but it's also moving away from where, fine, I'm probably got a bit of anxiety about it, okay? But it's reaching its pinnacle point where I know that when I make this journey, that's the only time that I will understand about things that need release and purging out. That's the only way I'm going to get to that point, is that you're going to have to go through it regardless, you know. Because this is also parts of the mind of like fear of it happening again, you know, where I've got nothing left now. Or this is like someone that's leaving. But it's also hiding a secret, meaning like I have to keep it from you for some reason. I have to kind of keep this secret. That doesn't have to be a forever after secret. It just means that at the moment there's something in the air, that needs release. It's some kind of fear. But we can work through that, Gemini, because this is a lot of like backwards and forwards. So there you go. So this is Taurian or Gemini or even Piscean energy, so I know, and you've got water sign here. But this is more Taurian energy, but it's a mother. So it's like, I want someone to look after me, you know, that kind of thing. Or you're going towards a feminine energy, but also someone that would be a mother, more than likely. But someone that would be very caring and nurturing, that could own their own business and that kind of thing, right? But this is like somebody that holds stature, someone that's extremely attractive also. But you would also get like the maternal kind of fearing. So someone could have fear about pregnancy. There might be a little bit of fear around like passion and heart-to-heart conversations, but I'm not really picking that up. I'm picking it up like this card, meaning passion. Allow your heart and soul to sing with joy. So, meaning passion, it could have something to do with around desire or like sexual passion, because the Empress can be very alluring, very well pronounced, shall we say. But it's kind of like running from one place to another place kind of feeling. Like I'm running from one mother to another mother. Because you've got children here, right? And then you've got like running from like a mother, but you've also got like running from like to a mother, but not like someone new. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm running to someone new, and I'm running away from also like a mother also. So if this Empress is controlling, like has control things, because you've got like a lot of kind of like backwards and forwards arguing and manipulation kind of feel like this is a bit like the Tower, right? The 7, because it's a 7 is the Tower also. It's like constantly feel like I'm standing on eggshells, where like this can just not mean sleepless nights, but it can mean like a lot of fear of saying something to you, because if I do and when I do, it's just going to cause a lot of conflict, and then it's just going to cause a lot of fucking confusion, where I know that I've actually got to leave something behind, right? So I think we're starting to get there, Gemini, with this so far. Because you know that this, whatever this is, if this is just like anxiety or fear, or like fear of standing on eggshells with someone that you can't admit things to, because when you admit things to, it feels like they're deceptive, It feels like they're going to take something. So when you realise that, you know, that, I mean, I get that, you know, I do get that a lot. You realise that me being like a Pisces, I get very confused because I like to be able to take my own direction, okay, and I like to be able to think clearly and kind of like gather my own thoughts. And when my thoughts get too shrouded, I get confused by people that can be this way, right? And that's just our natural charts of how it's aligned up for us to learn something through these periods of time being with people, right? So what happens generally through that is that through my star sign and family's star signs is realizing that I get confused with a lot of that energy, and I have to kind of like, you know, move from that energy, separate myself from the energy because it causes me confusion, right? So you've got a bit of like illusional kind of stuff. You've got like the Seven of Swords is this energy of like fearing, and it's definitely like a tower because it's building. It's like building up like desire to do something new, to do something fresh and new, desire to do something new. But it's also like a fear of like, I've got to go, I've got to leave this, and if I say this, then that's going to cause conflict, and then it's going to cause where either you or me or both or whatever are going to end up feeling like there's no resolve yet because we're not reached its pinnacle point of the 10. So there's a lesson there to be learned within this, knowing that sometimes people or places, because these can be like places, you know, places that are like where you've spent a long time in, because this would relate to Taurian energy, right? So it relate a lot to somewhere that you've spent a lot of time in, and it could be like around a mother figure. So if you've got children and they're watching, this is what they're feeling, you know? Like I've spent a long time being mothered or smothered by the situation that is here. So I need to not fear. I need to not fear because it could be like codependency to kind of mothery type sort of things, you know. Or but it doesn't have to mean you. It can mean like a mother has it over you. Like they fear that you're going to run out. They fear that. I mean, I get that because, you know, we lost my dad, we lost my brother. My mum's now on her own, but with a partner that happens to be a Leo, right? And happens to be a Leo. And she struggles a hell of a lot with that, with letting me make my own decisions, and it's so codependent of where I'm just like, fuck, I just stop, you know, stop worrying, stop fearing, stop, like, please just get something for yourself. This is like a self, like, do something for yourself, you know, do something for yourself. So if we relate this to a mirror, it's kind of like I want to do something for myself. I actually want to find my princess, you know, my princess, my empress. I actually want to find my empress because I'm actually looking at my empress. I'm actually looking at them, but I know that to get to them here, I've got to go through fear. To get to this side here, I've got to go through this period. I've got to make this move. I have got to stop overanalyzing, stop deceiving myself, and actually go through this regardless of the situation, and actually move through these parts of fear that's created by the mind of keeping you or keeping them into a state of like, well, what will happen? Well, you're never going to know unless you take action, right? Believe you me, I'm an action taker, and I'm about to take a big one, right? I'm going to go, I'm about to travel for a whole day across the world, right? And I might put where that might be in case any of you might say, oh, I live in that area. Do you want to do a meet and greet? Right? But I'm about to travel across the world, you know. Yeah, so there's a lot of that. There's a lot of like fearing leaving things behind. Sometimes, well, knowing that you've got to leave something behind. Because there's something being left behind. The Two of Swords. It's owning up to things. It's fearing that there's something that is left behind. A thief always turns back to the scene of the crime, right? But regardless, because it's holding something. It's like holding something over somebody. Like I have commitments, I have things, I have this to do, I have that to, oh my god, I have this to do, I have that to do, I have this to do. So it's kind of like more of a, can be like a self-deceiving of fearing to do it alone, you know, fearing to go it alone is what I'm definitely picking up, is fearing if I go it alone, am I going to, one, meet someone new, two, I have met someone new and I need to move away from like home, and that I'm, you know, through that kind of feel. But it's still through a lesson of this, through codependency of like material things, like materialism. Can also relate to Venus. We've got Venus astrology happening, but it's like materialism, materialistic things. I want something, well, pretty much like I want something better, you know, I want something better in my life. I want someone that's very caring and nurturing. Also, you know, because someone could be very like materialistic. Because there's a lot of pessimism and kind of optimism, but more materialism. Materialism of meaning you're worth your weight in gold, and that I want to come to see worth my weight in gold. But also like I need to leave behind things of that kind of stature, where it might mean like a lesson of such. Because this is the lesson, you see, the 9 is the lesson. It's the lesson of like not fearing. This is like, it can be parts of the ego and the pride and all that kind of thing, you know, of stature. You know, it can be like ego and pride, and it can be fearing a lot of like, am I worthy? Am I worthy? Like, oh my God, what's the film? You're not worthy. You're not worthy. Right? What was the film? Yeah, you're not worthy. I'm not worthy. You're not worthy. It's like, I'm not worthy. You're not worthy. I'm not worthy. You're not worthy. No, yes, you are. No, you are. No, you're not. Yes, you are. Kind of thing. Right? What the hell is the film? Garth, in it. Foxy lady. Bow, bow, wow. Right. I'm coming to get you. You want to watch that clip? I don't know if I'm going to have time to put it in the description. Garth, when he puts the money in the jukebox. Someone wants to put some money in your slot, Gemini. Right? But, like, puts the money in the jukebox, and he turns around and he looks at Lady Guinevere, was it? What was her name? No, not Guinevere. Sorry. What's her name? Yeah, and he turns around, he's like, bow, bow, wow, bow, bow, I'm coming to get you. Someone's coming to get you. Or you're going to get them. Someone wants like payback also. Like payback. I'm going to get you. I want to get you. I'm going to get you. Well, I'm going to get you. So I'm stuck in the middle with you. Oh my God. Sorry, I'm just like stuck in the middle with you. Queens of the Stone Age. Never say that I do. That is a song that I've been kind of like, yeah. Stuck in the middle with you. I can't say that I do. Oh dear. Have we got anything else? Oh, I'm trying to think how the song goes. I can't say that I do. God, I've been playing it all the time. I don't know why, and I know why I can't say that I do. Yeah, sorry. That's a good song, look it up. In the Middle with You. Stuck in the Middle with You. It's a sex song. I'm stuck in the middle with you. Yeah. So sorry, Gemini, I was kind of like... So you've got the Sun, and you've got the Ten of Pentacles, which is the ending, right, under the deck, so that's good. So there's no more mind games and no more manipulation, let's hope, right? And you've got wow, you've got a lot of good cards under the deck. But we will have a look at those, and then we'll go over the rest of this reading and we'll clarify everything. Like I said, these are so important for people to do, and it's going to give you a general overview of everything that's happening in your life. Okay, it's still the same option. There's the Patreon. A lot of you have joined the Patreon. I really do appreciate that. It's still very cheap through this month. still coming up month, you will still get access to everything. The month after, it will go on to tier 2. So that means that you will get access to these in tier 1, but in tier 2, all the weeklies, bi-weeklies, monthlies, separate different readings that I do that go over to there, that will be on to tier 2. But at the moment, and it still won't be too much more, I think I'm going to do that, I'm not really sure yet, but at the moment, you can still have access to everything over there for as long as you like, and you can still keep going back to it and checking on it and seeing where the energy, forms. But we'll go through that, and it still will be over on Vimeo. At the moment, it'll be in your monthly folder, okay? Like I said, if you do also want a reading, personal reading, just send me an email. It is in the description, and we can either do it like this, or I can just do your recorded reading, okay? But all the links are in the description. I hope you have a really good July, Gemini, and I will hopefully see you on the other side soon. Peace.